Jacob, aka Min-Infected Musician here to give you another painting tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to cover how I paint the gun and all the leather details on my Space Wolves. And before we start, just a friendly reminder that in the grim darkness of the far future there are no edge highlights. Let's head over to the workbench. So we're going to start off by painting some black here. I'm using Vallejo model color black. I think it gives a really nice matte finish. I'm going to first show you which part that I'm going to paint black, and it's going to be the gun. And we are also going into painting the antennas on this infiltrator black as well. And I will also base the grenades in black, and also the small little air intakes or outlets on the backpack will also be black. And don't forget, as I did in this case, the joints in the armor. As you can see here, I've already painted the pouches, but when you are painting black, just remember all those small little things. So the armor joints and the little straps on the back there, I usually like to paint as well. Okay, so the next step will be Rhinox hide, and now we're going in to paint the ammo pouches and the holster for the side arm. I'm also going to paint the belt of the model, it's the same thing here. Remember to paint all those little things. It's not too bad if you don't remember painting everything. You can always go back and do them later on, but it's always nice to remember to paint everything that will have the specific color that you are painting. And as you can see here, the last thing I'm doing will be the belt as well. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now when it's based out with the black and also the Rhinox hide. I've also painted some black in the mouthpiece, and don't forget the badge if you have one of those badges and not using transfers. Okay, so the next step will be to making all those scratches on the leather and also on the gun and the rest of the black little details. So I will start off with the Dawnstone. And as you can see here, I'm going along the edges, making small scratches, and it becomes almost sort of an edge highlight.
Hold your horses, son! Didn't you just say that in the grim darkness of the far future there are no edge highlights?
Well, I believe I did. But then again, some rules are just meant to be bent. And then we're back from that little hiccup. Well, as I said, it almost become a edge highlight, but it's just these small scratches all along the edges. Just as I showed in the last tutorial. And there we go. We have all those scratches on the gun. And we also have them on the air inlets and the outlets of the environmental system in the backpack. Okay, so the next color will be Gorthor brown, and we will start off doing using the same technique as before, but in this case we will be going along the edges on the ammo pouches. also on the holster of the side arm, and I'm also going over the belt, as you can see here. And don't forget those small leather straps that are going around his legs either. Just making sure to cover all these little like leather details with this technique. And here we can see it one more time. Unfortunately, I forgot to really show the leather details in that step. But we're going on, and we are going to use Baneblade Brown as an extra highlight in this step. So this is we're going to do scratches again, but this time on a bit fewer places than before. Just go along the edges and pick out parts that you think, here would be nice with a little lighter scratch along those on those leather details. And there I messed up and had to go in with some Rhinox hide again, but no problems. So here we go again, and you can make out those scratches, especially on the holster.
We come from the land of the ice and snow, from the midnight sun where the hot springs blow. Hammer of the gods.
So then we're going in for the metal details, and I'm starting out with Gunmetal, which is I really like that color from Vallejo, the Gunmetal from the game color range. So I'm going over, it's like the muzzle of the gun, and the ammo clip, the grenades, and basically that's it on this model. And the next step will be Leadbelcher, which I'm going to use as a highlight in this step. And just a few small touches on the top of the muzzle, on the ammo clip, just highlight those grenades a bit there. And we also have the grenade on his belt to do. And after that we are done with this little step. And the next thing I'm going to do is to paint the parchment of the purity seal, which this guy had. So I'm using Rakarth flesh, Pallid witch flesh, and dead white. And we're going to start off with Rakarth flesh. And as you can see, here we have our purity seal, and I'm just going to cover the entire purity seal with Rakarth flesh. And you usually will have to do this 2 times, since the Rakarth flesh is really light, really bright color, and doesn't have really good coverage. So do that 2 times, otherwise the underlying paint will probably show through. We then go on to Pallid witch flesh to make some highlights. And what I do with the Pallid witch flesh is to just go along with the edges and trying to hit those raised areas of the parchment here. Unfortunately, the model is a bit out of focus, but you will be able to see what I mean when I show you in the later steps. but just try to hit the raised areas of the parchment. And our last step here will be dead white. And this color I paint on the same places as the Pallid Witch Flesh, but just making smaller lines to give it that really bright feel. As you can see here, the Rakarth flesh is left in the recesses, and I have highlighted the edges. And then we go in for the wax seal on the purity seal, and I start with the Screamer Pink. And this is a really small part, but it just choose a nice and small brush. And then for the highlight I go in with Pink Horror. And this color is just like 2 little dots on this particular model. And the last thing we are going to do here is paint the text on the purity seal. And I use pretty thinned out black color and just go over the parchment, making some not straight lines, but a little diffuse and jagged lines with this, so it sort of resembles text from a distance. And then we're done. Okay, so the last step for these details will be the dark brown enamel wash for green vehicles from Ammo by Mig. And I'm just going to go over all those details that I've painted throughout this video. As you can see here, I have also finished the fur on his left pauldron, but I'm going to do a fur in another tutorial, so stay tuned for that one. And as you can see here, I painted I accidentally painted the wash over his hand, but there's no problem. You saw in my previous video how easy it is to take away with some enamel thinner, so don't worry about painting outside of these details. Just remember to hit everything that you've painted before. And then we just need to wait until the enamel wash has dried a bit. And we can go in with our enamel thinner again. This time I'm using a brush instead of a Q-tip. I think it works pretty well for these smaller details. And be a bit careful, especially when you do the purity seal, because if you use too much thinner you risk taking off all the dark brown enamel wash, and then it won't give any effect. And here you can see the finished results on the gun, the ammo pouches, the holster, the grenades, and also the purity seal.